Well, I was a physical education major. My name is Frank Dawson from Pearl River, New York. Graduated Pearl River High School in 1953. Graduated from Cortland here in 1957.
And again, what was your major?
My major in health and physical education.
Okay, so but your certification was in physical education?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you remember why it was that you chose SUNY Cortland or Cortland College for your degree?
Well, I had several opportunities as an athlete. I had several opportunities to play football. And I made a visit to Cortland. I had a very close friend of mine who was a few years older than me who had graduated Cortland. I believe he was from Binghamton. His name was George Dool. And he said, "Well, we'll take a trip." And I came up and I immediately liked it. It was a very warm situation. We came up for the skills test. And when we started narrowing things down, I decided that I would be 3 or 4 hours from home in Pearl River. And it was exactly what I was looking for. It would give me the opportunity to play football and basketball, where I might not have had that opportunity. In a little bit bigger school, probably would have been just confined to football.
And when you said it was a warm place, what did that mean for you?
Well, it meant that people were going to take more of an individual interest. In a bigger school, sometimes you just become a number. In a big school, a lot of times you don't even speak to your head coach. Your assistant coach who will recruit you, he's your main contact. And I know a few fellows who went to some big schools who never even spoke to the head coach in 4 years of playing. It was always the assistant coach. And fortunately, I ran into some very outstanding individuals who combined professionalism with compassion and got some of us young freshmen with some high school ideas through some rough times.
Well, can you name any particular professors or staff members that had a great influence?
There are quite a few that I was fortunate to come in contact with. Carol Horak, who was the trainer, Charlie Potskanzer, Ellis Johnson, who was a great history professor, Tony Tesori, who, in fact, I got a very congratulatory card from him a couple of weeks ago. He's 90 years old and going strong in Florida. And, of course, the incomparable Bob Weber, who was the athletic director, probably one of the finest men I've ever met. And the chairman of the board, Mr. Cortland himself, Pete Corey. I mean, these people not only passed on their values and their professionalism to us, but they had a lot of compassion. And they kind of guided us through the tough times until fortunately, by the time we were juniors and we had passed anatomy, that we got through it.
Right. Well, after you graduated from Cortland and you took your first professional position, how qualified did you feel you were for your job?
Well, I don't know if I was ready for the politics and the mechanics of public school, but I felt that as a physical education major, I had been pretty well prepared in a variety of activities. I had managed to get myself through the science courses. I was always pretty good in the social subjects like English and history and those areas. So I figured, well, I could communicate, I could speak very well, and I wrote pretty decent. So I felt that I was pretty well prepared for whatever was going to happen.
What lifelong lessons do you think you learned at Cortland, and how did they affect you in both your personal and professional life?
Well, I think one thing I might say is, as I told Pete Corey yesterday, one thing I learned in Cortland, that try to do things that are right. Maybe not always the most popular thing, but let's do things right. I remember as a senior, we had a great basketball team. We were invited to the NCAA tournament. regular state tournament at Oswego. And Cortland was the top seed. And we were very disappointed that we were not going to go to the NCAA. It was decided that we were going to go to Oswego because we were the top seed and the success of the tournament really depended upon us going. And Coach Corey came in and said, I know you're disappointed, but let's do what's right. And I think it's probably the most important lesson that I've learned through the years. Don't always try to be the most popular decision going, but do what's right.
Do you have the fondest memory of Cortland that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, I could probably not one single thing. A few moments with Charlie on the football field in class. Just his way of motivating people. Bob Weber was the manager of the baseball team my senior year. Trevor said, I've got a first baseman who I think can hit. He's only a sophomore. Would you be my manager? And he said, you've got a car, and I travel by car, and he says, you make a few dollars. And so I went along, and I was his manager, and I had some very good times with him. Bob Weber used to give me the money to pay the expenses. And when I brought him back change instead of dollar bills, he said, what happened to all the money? I said, well, we ate steak instead of bologna.